It's time to collect elderflowers. Here it is again, the farting plant. So today's mission is a bit different than usual. It is actually gardening. There is a storm coming soon. It's time to collect elderflowers. Now, last year I really had an unfortunate scene with these ones because when I did the recipe, I added too much citric acid, and even though everything was drinkable, it wasn't pleasantly so necessarily. So this time I need to make things better and add a bit less citric acid to it. And also I will need two hands because my cutting skills with one are not very good. It's a beautiful late spring afternoon. I ran away from work a bit earlier than usual and have a perfect day, well, rest of the day in front of me to collect. And it's my Christmas bag again. I cannot avoid it entirely, of course, but I always try, whatever I pick, to check if there are insects, snails or anything on it, and just to, clear them out. Not because I'm disgusted by them or something, just I don't want to necessarily drown them later and make a juice out of them. So if I can see and notice something, I won't necessarily kill it. A lot of stinging nettles, entire patch below the elder tree. So elder tree have a lot of legends surrounding it, and in most cultures it is actually said that if you burn it, if you cut it down, you get bad luck and you shouldn't do it. You almost get cursed in a way. And there is some kind of elder ghost or something that lives in these trees that makes sure to take its revenge upon you when you are mistreating this tree. It seems, judging by this part here, that I wasn't the only one picking this. And this. It seems this is already a second batch of flowers. So maybe there was one that already passed its season. So I checked, and apparently you don't need to ask that ghost for permission to take the flowers, so we are good. One of my favorite parts of this is when you are picking these, you get pieces of elderflowers all over you. It looks like snow is falling at some point, which is interesting. Let's go further. Well, I must say I'm proud of myself because I picked the perfect location. I had no information apart from Google Maps, and I just thought, look at this spot, maybe there is some elder trees here. There are some, and indeed there are. So happy about it. So this entire area where I am now was once a river, and what left from it, because it's dried out and now it's much more further down, it's this valley where some time ago a river used to be. Obviously not anymore. And if I would go all the way to the river and follow it, I would enter the sea at one point. and the entire river is actually salty because it's a mixed water. It's a bit of seawater, a bit of fresh water, and yeah, quite nice place, calming. I will go there soon and have a few adventures there as well. So silent and beautiful. You know why? When I start talking about one thing, I forget about the first one. So I forgot about the picking of elderflowers I need to do. I'm not sure this time I will show the recipe though. I think I'll just give it to my friend, so I'm not the one making it. But who knows, I have an idea that we make a competition to see whose way of making the flowers, the elderflower syrup is better. But I don't know if I can manage to do it. It's a working week after all, and I get quite tired very fast after the work day. But we'll see. Just thinking out loud. You heard the cuckoo bird. There are a lot of blackbirds as usual. Ah, beautiful. Now, which path to choose? One that goes further where the valley was, and the other one that goes a bit, obviously, uphill from there. It's so hard to make choices sometimes. So I find this funny. This one is the so-called ground elder, and the real elder is just up there next to it. Here is even better. Real elder, so the one that we need for the elderflower syrup, and ground elder next to it. Of course, the name itself says ground elder grows from the ground, and this one is actually a tree. Now, you shouldn't be picking this one. You should pick this one. Also, I need to be careful because, you know, at the first glance, if you're not experienced, there are a lot similarly looking flowers that resemble elder, and if you're picking in a bulk, not paying attention, you could maybe pick up poison hemlock or something like that. So better not play with it. Always be very careful and know what you're picking. Even though that is kind of a mistake you would make if you're really not cautious, still better to say it. And the ground elder is actually edible during the early growing phase. I have a video that I made in early spring, end of winter, when elderflower was just starting to grow, where I picked its leaves. They can be used in salads, they can be used pretty much as spinach as well. This one is so-called gas plant, and I need to be careful because in some people it can cause skin irritation. When you smell it, its smell is very reminding of a citrus, of orange or something like that. At least it's pretty orangey to me, something between lemon and orange. And even now, as I'm standing quite far away from it, I can scent it. And why it is called gas plant? It is called like that because its vapor is actually flammable. So you can say it's kind of a fart plant, really. And what do you know? The nature just keeps on giving. Strawberry. Still half ripe, half white. So I will leave it here. But this is a sign there could be more. Nothing better than wild strawberries. If you ever tasted ones, the ones you buy at the supermarkets or any kind of markets will just stop tasting for you at all. They'll turn into a cardboards, because nothing can be compared with the taste, intense sweet taste of the wild strawberries. If you didn't try them, I invite you, I actually urge you to go and try. It will forever change the view you have about strawberries. Here it is again. The farting plant. Few of them here as well. There is a lot of them here. So today's mission is a bit different than usual. It is actually gardening, and the skies are a bit gray and are getting darker and darker because there is a storm coming soon, and I need to make sure I do everything quickly. So I'm not here alone, I'm with my friend that is helping me to dig, and to be honest, I need all the help I can get. But it's so much fun. And yeah, I'm here at the friend's place. I have a patch of land where I can play with stuff and plant stuff. A bit unusually, this is actually a place for fruit trees. And I mean, most of the time people do not have a garden beneath the fruit trees. Especially walnuts, because walnuts for some reason are known to, I think they take a lot of nutrients, so the plants that you plant underneath them die off or are struggling to get the nutrient. But let's put this to a test. I'm not sure if that is the case or not. I just want to try and see what will happen. The people here used to have the garden on the same place, so I wouldn't say that everything will die for sure. Maybe it makes a difference what kind of plant can go there. Maybe some plants are more sensitive for the walnut tree to be near them, and others are less. Who knows? Here we have an apple tree, still of course in very early stage. There will be a lot of apples, and there will be a lot of work to prune these old dried branches, but it will happen. A lot more of the space here, some other trees. There is a wild cherry somewhere over there, and yeah, let's see if we will make it before the rain. So the goal is to have another patch just like this on the other side next to this one. And let's see if we are going to make it in time before the rain to dig everything up, to make everything proper. It still needs work because you need to cut down all these large lumps somehow, and it's a lot of work, but you know, for an office corporate worker like me, it's a God-given opportunity to actually have some physical exercise and make myself stronger. Well, I must say this is some tedious work, and I forgot my gloves. But actually I did not forget them, but they are buried beneath the 2 sacks of earth. And we wanted to firstly prepare the land and then put the earth, so my gloves remain buried. And as soon as I stop doing anything, there are mosquitoes just all over the place. They are biting me all over the place, so I had to wash myself inside the mosquito repellent. I mean, put so much of it. I'm genetically predisposed to attract mosquitoes more than usual people for some reason, and I really struggle with them. So in a way, they are just like trainers, you know. Work harder. As soon as I make any kind of break, they are just all over me. And even though I have a repellent on, I still can hear them, you know, trying to find that tiny small spot somewhere to bite me. Those are, I think, blue tits, not great ones. I'm talking about the birds. Yeah, and I have them all the time. I hear them buzzing and I cannot focus. And I must think about my ancestors, you know, if mosquitoes loved them as much as they love me, how did they survive? It was a struggle. It's every minute you need to think about the mosquitoes, this mosquito, that. Happy to live in this day and age just because the mosquito repellent, let me tell you that. You know, I think the birds know that I have food here, and they are just slowly approaching me to see if I'm friendly or dead or alive, threat or not. They're pretending they're doing something else on that apple tree just to get here. I mean, they are strategists. We are all strategists in life. There's so many of them. But okay, time to move on with some more of the work. So we are slowly losing the race against the time, but at least this one is almost done. I've been told that my coordination skills in what is straightforward and what is not, you know, what is completely in line and what not is a bit out of whack, but what can you do? I'm an office worker, not a farmer, and I will figure this out one day. But for me this is okay. We used plastic, but we will move to wood and something more environment friendly and work friendly the next time. We found all sorts of creatures while digging, mostly worms and some other stuff that lives underground. Most of the time, I mean, if we don't kill it by accident, we always remove it, put it somewhere else, because those worms are very, very beneficial for the soil quality. And there is this special kind of worm that exists in this area, in these areas, that creates these piles. Let me see if I can find one. It looks like a small tower. I actually recorded a lot of those in all of my videos. When I'm going through the woods and exploring stuff, there is those things, but now I don't see them here. Maybe I should look more closely, but if I do, I will catch it. It's a very big earthworm, and you know, unfortunately you cannot know, you always kill something by accident. But okay, more food for the birds. Maybe that is the reason why those little birds were stalking me the other day. Not the other day, but a few hours ago. What am I talking about? So they were thinking, if we are digging the earth, the worms come up and they have food to eat. Maybe that is the case. And they were not really interested in whatever we were eating. Maybe they are used to, by now, that whenever they see tractors, farmers, anything, any movement about earth, they are used to have worms crawling out of it or finding pieces of them on the, top of the soil. So it's a feast for them. And whenever you come to do something, they notice that. And when you stop digging, stop talking, which I hopefully will today, sit over here and just be silent for 5 minutes or so, you notice, apart from the neighbors looking you weirdly, you notice they start coming and chattering in there, scanning the area. So yeah, the storm is actually coming quite soon. Need to be ready. I'm glad we finished at least with this one. We need to chop these lumps of earth to make them smaller and easier to deal with. This is now a very hard clump of earth and I cannot even break it with my fingers. Not that I'm strong anyway, but I'm failing to do it. Yeah. And it's a lot of work, good exercise. After that comes the layer of earth we bought, maybe some fertilizer, maybe not, we'll see how it goes. And then come the plants. And there's still one more to be done. This will be a fun year.